chopping up the apples more than I normally do because in this case, they're more for moisture than for texture because the dried fruits have so much texture. So these I'm bringing down to smaller sizes so they become almost a sauciness, but not to the point where it just a partial part of the recipe. And now also to remind you, I'm making many pies, but you're only going to see one. So it's like you're watching me do all this bulk of work, but just you really only need to see one pie being made. So it's kind of a funny thing. I think I'll do one more apple. I'll do a Granny Smith this time. How's that? And then that should be enough. And then we'll add some other things. What I did last time, you know, I'm in the middle of this experiment, but so far it's getting better and better. So I'm very excited about every new twist and turn. And if I don't have the fruit, you know, that I can get from the store that knows the neighborhood in the $1.50 bags, and I didn't have time to look today, so another invention came. I thought, oh, when I was in the Brighton, what's it called? Brighton Beach. When I was in the Brighton Beach area, yes, Sunday morning, early, 6 o'clock in the morning, Richard and I went tromping through with all these amazing places, you know, and I found a man who sells the most beautiful jams, just incredible at wonderful cost. And one of them, many of them I couldn't read because they were Russian names and also fruits that only grow in Russia. And he was so trying to help me with that because there was no comparable fruit. But one of them was, you could tell by the picture on the front, was raspberries. And there were strawberries and other things that I could recognize, apricot. And so I bought some of these jams and I thought, oh, the raspberry jam would be beautiful in these pies. And it would bring some of the gentle gooiness that we need. Another thing I use, which I'm going to tell you right now in case I forget at the time, you know how we use cornstarch? And we use, usually in an apple pie or something, we use flour in with the butter and the little bit of sugar that you put in. And that thickens it, so it's not so soppy. But then I switched over to cornstarch, and that's more clear, like gelatin-like. It's clearer. And I thought for the fruits, it was prettier because it shows off the fruits rather than a kind of murky creaminess. Do you see what I mean there? And so then I found out that potato starch is even clearer, and it's just easier to work with in many ways. So I now use potato starch in with the mixture, and it's been working really well. So I'm very excited about it as a new thing in my larder. I'm just going to go ahead and cut these now. Okay, my channel mammals, I have added all the small dried fruits to this. I'm going to bring it over to you. So it's got the basil and all the liquids that we put in yesterday, and the small dried fruits and nuts. I toasted the nuts, and I'm chopping them up. And the reason I'm showing you that I'm chopping them up, not 100%, not into fine dust. So I'm chopping up the nuts enough that they aren't such an intrusion, because I just like the idea of them being there as a support to the dried fruits. And so I started chopping. I've been chopping. I put quite a few in here already. And I put quite a few nuts into this mix. So far, what's in here are the fresh apples, the nuts, the potato starch, the tomato or the orange juice concentrate that I happen to have, and I think one little bottle of sparkling cider, and the basil, and then the walnuts, the preserved walnuts, and their juices. So we've got quite a bit here, but this is just the beginning. These are all the different fruits that, and here's some lemon juice. I'm going to put that in there as well because I did last time and I love the taste of it. I have no idea how much this is. It's probably a lemon's worth. But this is, these are all ones I have to chop up a bit. So I thought, well, I'll just chop with you for a little bit and then move on. Well, I just chopped up the mango, and now I'm starting on, and again, I have no idea how much I'm chopping up, but now these lovely pinkish, these beautiful, some kind of a plum, or remember I showed them to you the other, when I opened them originally, when I was getting all the fruits out of the cupboard. Look at them. Aren't they pretty? They're like flowers. They're just like beautiful flowers. Anyway, these I'll just cut into quarters. They'll be much easier to cut than the mango. So here we go. I'm trying to make a tall pile. Pretty good. And then just half again. So that you can still tell what fruits you might be eating, but not to the point where you've got a whole big gob in your mouth and can't have a nice tea conversation at the same time. Again, if I lived somewhere else and I didn't have access to all these dried fruits, or I'd probably be experimenting with something else. Our daughter, Heather, and her husband, Nils, our son-in-law, live in Burkina Faso, and they have completely different kinds of experiences around them. Completely different. I've never been to visit. I can't wait. I'm hoping that we can go and visit sometime. But I'm sure that their experiments and their new inventions for either food or living or working are also just as varied as these. In other words, completely other materials all around them. Every time I hear them talk, I think, oh my goodness, I can't imagine what that must be like. And it's such a fun idea. The reason I'm telling you that is because you live somewhere else, all of you, and you have different tools around you, different needs, everything. But this channel, as I'm getting to know it, is really more about a way of thinking than a way of doing, if you will. And once your thought is liberated, if you will, not that you aren't already, but I mean into new ways. Of course, we're always being further and further liberated as we as we live. And so as other ideas come, you'll be developing things within your own realm of expression. It's like, I know what it's like. It's like the rays of light coming from the sun. All the rays of light are from the sun. They're actually the sun. They're actually the same. But it's what they hit on that colors differently, or that, speaks to us differently, that we see differently. And so the beauty of that is that that's where all the wonderful individuality expresses, just infinite, because of all the bouncing back and forth and the interrelations between us all. So that's what I love about this, is that I'm not just showing you something, how to do something, because you'll have your own ways anyway. Nobody can do things the same, because they're living in with different materials around them, and everything's different. Their family, the weather, everything. So it doesn't do a lot of good just to learn the way one person is doing something. So it's more the bigness of the thought, and that thought can just change the world within itself, within its own little world. And that's what makes this wonderful growth for mankind better and better. And right now, people are feeling there's some worse and worse going on, but it isn't true, because we are just constantly being drawn to make things better. It's just natural. And sometimes some experiments go on that are not going to work because maybe the motive isn't quite right, or maybe the motive is askew, and we have to readjust. What are we really trying to do for the world, for others, for mankind, for God, for country? And then all of a sudden these wonderful inventions come along, and that's what's happening. Actually, it's just there are some places where we say, oops, made a wrong turn there, let's turn back, or let's turn this way. And so that's what this channel, to me, right now is about. And it doesn't matter what the materials are that are before us, or what our circumstances are, what our challenges are. It's more the way we approach those. And that is the thrill. It's such a thrill. I just love it. I love peeking in on other people's experiences too, and realizing we seem different, but we're really the same, but we have different circumstances that color our surroundings. And it's really great. I'm going to try to think of a story to tell you that tells that story better than just words. Well, doing this is better than words because this is really funny to me, what's going on here. And it's exemplary of the infinite opportunities that we have right where we are with what we have. And there's nobody who hasn't, who's a victim. Nobody. I can't think of one single situation like that, because whatever seems like victimhood to us is really just a pause where we need to reestablish how much abundance and how much possibility there is, and how to come up and out of the thought that binds us. Again, it's always thought that binds us, not situations. The situations, I think, definitely come from what we've invited in, and we can uninvite it. And it's amazing how things change. And there's just no such thing as being under the power of some greater power, unless it's, you know, this wonderful infinite power of good, which gives us new ideas with every new day and every new light that goes up, that opens up. There go the dates. And now, let's see, what would be another? I'm trying to also clear this away as we go. You might wonder why I use these little cupcake papers, or in some cases, they're like, what do they use? And they use them for making coffee strainers, which we just happen to have, but we don't use. And it's because the lids are metal, and so it's easy to kind of use the fruit. It could damage the fruit, and so I just do that as a practice, and it keeps the fruit away from the metal. That's a good idea in this case. Okay, well now, I've given you another corner of the galley to be entertained by. Let's see. I don't know if there's anything. Well, this is a lamp. I don't know if you can see this lamp in the video, but this is a lamp that I made out of a coffee. I think it's called a coffee maker of some sort, where the coffee seeps through these holes. But I liked it with the light and the symbol and the little teapot on top, and it's just a funny looking object. It's got 3 lamps inside of it, so it puts off a good glow. And you probably can't see the one at the top. And this one, Richard made this beautiful shell candlestick, and a friend of ours, Bob's wife, made this little votive holder. It's a little pot that she made. And so we put a candle in there and it glows. What else can I show you? Here's the king and the queen at the coronation of the queen, which I well remember. You probably can't see them. Let me see if I can take them out of here. Might be a good idea to see what I have in this tin. Who knows? Oh gosh, I'm worried. It's full of something. Oh, biscuits. Can you see them? Oh my goodness. This has been fun. I don't know when I put them in here, but I'm sure they're still perfect for eating. And there's almost nothing left of the queen. Her face has gone off with time. But there they were at the coronation. And this tin was from that time. And let's see, I'll have to put myself back together again here, at least temporarily. So, and then, oh, this little dish. I love this little dish. You know, there's one of the channel mammals that I call Uncle Robert. He's not really an uncle, but he's a man that is a channel mammal, and he writes the most wonderful things. Oh my gosh, I'm embarrassed. It's dusty. I have to clean it so that it looks good for you. It's only just galley dust. Okay, so you probably can't see it so far away. Let me try to bring it to you. How's that? Maybe I'll take the opportunity to wash my hands to be polite. Can you see? It was, and here's the back. It was our kitchen up, oh gosh, I feel like I want to show it to you closer. Let me see if I can get it so that we can see it better. Yes, it was our kitchen when we lived upstate and had MacKenzie-Childs. You see behind the Aga cooker over here? See the tile? That was our tile, and the hood was all of our tile. And I believe, what else is in this? Oh yes, there's a lamp in the corner. Before you go down the stairway, you see that lamp in the corner? That's one of our lamps. And this is a saucer for a teacup, which we don't have, but it was part of the McLaughlin collection. I'm cutting up ginger now. It's one of my favorite parts of any pie. So there'll be ample ginger, I hope. The last ones I made in the experiment, it didn't show up very much, so I want to be sure we have plenty this time. I almost forgot to tell you that besides the cornstarch, I could only get cornstarch today. When I went back to the market, I was out of potato starch, so it'll be fine. It won't matter. I'll put a little in here. This is where I'm a little nervous. I understand flour very well, but I don't understand cornstarch and potato starch very well. So this is where I don't know whether I'm going to be making it too thick or not thick enough. So it's very tricky to know. So I'm just experimenting, like with a little extra gumption, hoping to find out some answers. Now there's already some potato starch in here, so maybe this will be just right. Maybe it's too much. But also, oh, this is so amazing. We also use this Danish tea that Frederick would bring back with him whenever he went home. There were different kinds. One of them was called dragon mint. And oh my goodness, it was too strong to drink, but it was perfect for pies. And listen to the ingredients on this one. This one's called green apple chai. So this is so gentle compared to the other. Okay, this has in it cinnamon, ginger, cardamom, cloves, black pepper, and apple pieces. Now, that's the translation in English. The rest is impossible to read. But isn't that perfect for a pie? So we'll put this in as well. So now, oh, it smells divine. So now we have in here basil, green, well, we have apple anyway, cinnamon, ginger, cardamom, cloves, black pepper, and of course ginger. So it's going to be just a prize pie in the sky. Oh, I think I need a little more tea in here. Don't you? It's an awful lot. This will make a lot of pies because unlike an apple pie, I don't fill them very high because it's such a rich pie. You like it almost like a tart, maybe? I'm not sure what the difference in terms are, but just a little bit flatter. So, oh, I think I need to add a little bit more. There, that's nice. I just don't want you to feel like you're eating bark because there's no straining of this. Like with a tea strainer, you'll be munching on it. But I think it'll be delicious. I say you, but I wish you all would come and visit someday. Wouldn't that be fun? We could have pie day. It would be so great. Everybody could bring a pie. And if they don't make pie, they could bring a bakery pie, or they could bring what they do make. It would be so great. Out here on Yankee, there's room for hundreds of us. So there's the finishing touch of the pie filling. And now we're going to work on the pastry. It's a lot of work, so bear with me. Thanks. You know, perhaps I should say goodbye for a minute because maybe that's a separate video. So I'll say thank you, my channel mammals, for helping me make the filling for the very most thrilling pie in the sky yet to be had. How's that?